What's quack-a-lackin', guys? My name is Pone, coming at you guys with some Iron Banner information. I know it's a month away, but I'm all about prep. Just kidding, guys. I'm a tease. Foreplay. So, let's go. Let's dive straight in. No time wasted. The shotgun that I noticed on the armory while browsing on Bungie.net. This thing is called a Daedrus's Retort. It most closely resembles the Found Verdict statistically. It's got 17 range while the Verdict had 18, and the stability is much higher on the Retort, meaning this is going to be a great full auto build shotgun. It's not going to be one of those super long distance ones like your Fellwinners. Instead, it's going to make sure that it puts things down, and it should be more reliable in PvE too. So, what are we looking at? There's a new perk, and it's probably the only real perk worth mentioning in the first tier for it. It's called Underdog. This weapon gains a boost to range and handling when health is low. That is something that's going to trigger often because low health is not an uncommon thing in this game. As for the second tier, Rescue Mag. What chance to refill this weapon's magazine when critically wounded. That's big on the shotgun that has slow reload and you have to individually feed those. That could be interesting. But also, you have to fight with that, full auto, which is probably the way to go, shot package and rangefinder. You have decisions to make there. What you want to stack on this thing when it is time is range. So you're going to want either rifled or reinforced barrel. Moving on over to the next one we have, it's the Hakon's Hatchet. This is the auto rifle. It most closely resembles the Silmar's from House of Wolves. It's got that thing that the Abyss Defiant has, so it has the same impact and rate of fire. It's the second highest rate of fire, second highest impact. It's got a little bit going for it, so it's going to need an increase to range and stability. Its base stats are not that great, to be honest, so that's what you're going to have to stack. Fortunately, it can, in fact, roll rangefinder in the first tier if that is something you're looking forward to. And if not, in the second tier, the only thing that seemed to be pretty interesting and new was something called Life Support. Kills with this weapon while critically wounded have a chance to start regenerating health. That's a common thing, and that's going to come in handy with a gun like this. Next up is the hand cannon. It's called Finala's Peril. This thing is very interesting because it closely resembles the Fulcrum and Loner Rebel if we're talking about stats, damage, and impact. The difference, as you can see in the bottom left corner, is the magazine capacity being much higher for those that are out there right now. That's got a lot going for it. Another thing worth mentioning is reactive reload can now officially roll on hand cannons, and with reload enhancing perks available, and even outlaw can be rolled in the second tier. That may not be a bad idea on something like this, putting it into a threshold of a 2-shot to kill quite easily. Now, there are a whole lot of other perks coming that are new that I just do not know enough about. There may be better ways to roll that. We're going to have to find out in the future here on the channel. And next up, just as I had feared, the pulse rifles were going to fall off. The perks were not going to be as good in the Taken King. We have Nerwin's Mercy. This ring just does not have a lot going for it. It most closely resembles what your All Fate was capable of. The difference is the All Fate had significantly higher range, which means it's more effective over distance, which means it's technically superior. It also could have things like reactive reload coupled with it, giving it increased damage, so that's scary. The only thing this one really has going for it right now is some of the new perks may be surprising and extremely strong, who knows, but it also has Feeding Frenzy and Outlaw in 2 separate tiers, so that's always good too. And next up, I spy with my little eye the new Scout Rifle. It's called the Calavance's Duty, and it is pretty much a copy-paste version of Gellion's Demise, similar to what the Scholar is for those that experienced that one. This one is in the tier of slowest rate of fire, highest damage output. This one requires 3 precision shots to put someone down. The only thing this one really has going for it over those old ones is a new perk, and it's a very interesting perk, called Guerrilla Fighter. Increased accuracy, handling, and damage resistance when shooting this weapon from behind cover. It's basically a head glitching perk. Some people may be thrilled about this, some may not be. This is definitely one of those scout rifles that just shouldn't be used aggressively, and you need to sit back for it. That will go great with it. Okay, go ahead, cue the Ash Raven jokes. The Ash Raven's Flight is the fusion rifle for the Iron Banner. Similar stats to the Plan C. Same charge rate, same impact. Now, of course, it doesn't have its perks available, but it has a couple other things that may be interesting. You can get rangefinder on this, coupled with something like Hidden Hand. That target acquisition may be a good thing for something like this, but overall, it's going to be a really solid fusion rifle, and I'm curious to see how that one plans out. Next up is the Waileran's March, the Iron Banner Sniper Rifle. And what's so cool about this thing is that it's got a higher rate of fire, slightly higher rate of fire than the Praetor's Revenge, but it also has lower impact and significantly lower stability, which means this is going to be a really interesting one to see, and with some really good target acquisition, some snapshot in there, this could be a quickscoper's dream. Next up, the gun that all your other guns are going to be jealous of, the Iron Wreath-d. ironwreath-d, the hockey-built sidearm. You can see the cool little stamp, the little Iron Banner logo stamped on the side of it. But it's absolutely incredible. It's a beautiful looking gun, and you can just see by its stats, maxed out rate of fire, almost maxed out stability and reload. And what's so good about that is this thing can roll reactive reload. It's going to be godly on a gun. That is probably going to be a must-have on this weapon. The reload speed is already so good, you're not going to need something like Feeding Frenzy or Outlaw to accompany. And there's also a new perk in that second tier called Relentless Tracker. Don't know how it's going to perform, but it says kills with this weapon grant enhanced motion tracker resolution for a short time. If not, you can always fall back on Battle Runner. If you really want to make sure that you have pretty much infinite ammo cycling through, you could still go with Outlaw or Feeding Frenzy. And this one is definitely the one that I'm looking forward to the most. But let's keep moving on. Moving over into the heavy weapons category, we have the new machine gun available, and it's called the Bredomart's Stand. This thing is pretty much on par with rate of fire and impact to that of the BTRD. The only catch is it's not even remotely close to covering it in the other areas. And it's not very fancy, to be honest. This one was very, very disappointing, to be completely fair. And we'll see what happens with this one in the future. I'm looking forward to seeing what it can do. But again, a machine gun is a machine gun. I still continued using things like an unleveled corrective measure in Iron Banner because YOLO, I want those bounties done. Last up on the list is the rocket launcher, and, you know, spoiler alert, guys, it shoots rockets. So I'm not really got much to say on the entire category, but it shoots the rockets, things go boom, and the end. Profit. So that has been kind of a first look at this. Hopefully I've encouraged you guys to pay attention. The sidearm is promising. The shotgun's going to be great. I'm curious to see how the sniper rifle and other things play into the mix with this game. But that is that. If you enjoyed the gameplay, be sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're new here for future Destiny content, and have a great evening, guys.